Whoever is ashamed of the son of Adam, the son of man, Yahusha HaMashiach, the Messiah, he too shall be ashamed of when he returns in the power and the glory of Yahuwah and with the set apart angels. This world that's consumed by the flesh would have you monitor yourself, would have you restrain yourself from expressing your love for Yahuwah Yahusha because it's deemed unfashionable, it's deemed unmodern, it's deemed unsophisticated. To love Yahuwah, the Most High, the Supreme Elohim with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to accept Yahusha, the Son of the Most High, the perfect Lamb of Elohim, the Supreme Elohim, who sacrificed everything so that we may live, so that we may be forgiven in the eyes of the Father once and forever. That declaring to the world and being open about it, should the conversation take a turn to what you believe in, and there's lots of things in conversation or just in daily life, me just being out in this park in front of all these people, where expressing love, reverence, honor for Yahuwah, Yahusha HaMashiach, the Messiah, Yahuwah, the Most High, who breathes life into you and I, the Most High who brings all creation into existence, the Most High who creates all things. There are many instances where our belief in Yahuwah Yahusha might cause feelings or instances of uncomfortableness. And it should not. It should not. You have to get over that. I'll be in this park in front of all these people. I've been in the gym where I've hit my knees, and in front of people, in front of everybody, I'll pray to Yahuwah Yahusha. Because the time is right. My heart calls me. He calls me. And when I feel that, I won't ignore it. I won't ignore it. If it's compelling and it's striking at my heart and I'm in that place where I'm connecting, as is my practice every day, then so be it. I've lost that. I've given that up. I've given up this world of the flesh. I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. And so I proudly speak out loud about my love and my honor and my respect and my reverence for Yahuwah Yahusha. And I'll hit my knees and I'll pray in front of everybody. And there's a freedom in that. There's a freedom that's indescribable in being able to let go of the pretense of the countenance, of the contrivance of this world, and being true to yourself, true to your heart, true to the Ruach, the set-apart spirit, the breath of Yahuwah that lives within us. There's a freedom in being able to do that. But a lot of people don't want to commit to their love of Yahuwah Yahusha in conversation with others because they don't want to, they feel embarrassment. That's what this world has done to the children of Yahuwah Yahusha. If you allow it, if you allow yourself to be belittled and mocked and scoffed at, as the disciples talked about, you will be rejected. Even Yahusha said, you'll be rejected in my name. You'll be cast out in my name. You'll be persecuted in my name. But in so doing, you please Elohim. You please Elohim, the Most High. For whoever looks to save his life in this world, for whoever seeks to save their life, will surely lose it. And for all those who lose their life for Yahushua HaMashiach, the Messiah, and for the Beshorah, for the good news, will gain it. And what does that mean? It's metaphorical. Yahusha gave his life, sacrificed everything. Yahuwah manifested in the flesh, who lived amongst us, saw us, walked with us, and got to know us as a man. Very different from the omnipotent one, the omniscience that is Yahuwah. But to actually manifest himself as man and then live with us as man and see us as a man for all our foibles, for all of our imperfections, for all of our hate and sin and evil, temptations, he went through temptations. The devil for those 40 days in the desert tempted him in all ways. 3 times, and 3 times Yahusha rejected Hashatan. But he saw us for our weakness, for our vulnerabilities. And so it's metaphorical. It's metaphorical for us to lose our life in this world, meaning to no longer accept the contrivance of this world, to no longer live for the flesh, but to live for the good news, to live for what's to come, to pass through the narrow gate to the kingdom to come, where there is no more of this mocking and scoffing and belittling. There's no more haters or detractors, psychic vampires or negative influencers, corrupters or misleaders or evildoers or evil whisperers. There's no more Hashatan, there's no more Satan, there's no more devil, there's no more Lucifer. All of them, all of the war and misery, all of the pain and suffering, all of the murder and death, all of the evil and sin, sadness and hatred, sickness and disease of this world, crushed, wiped away by Yahusha HaMashiach, who will live amongst us once again in the kingdom to come, where he will establish his kingdom and reign when he comes with the power of the Supreme Elohim, the power and the glory of the holy angels, the set apart ones. And he wipes away with fire, destroys all of the Sodom and Gomorrah, all of the decadence and depravity, all the defilement and debasement of this world, and crushes the evil ones beneath his feet, and reigns supreme where he lives amongst us once again. And there is nothing but everlasting love. Imagine that, everlasting joy. Can you envision it? Everlasting healing. Can you see it? Everlasting peace. Can you believe it? And everlasting life. Can you know it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? And where we can love him, honor him, glorify him, worship him, praise him with all of our hearts, with all of our souls, with all of our minds, and all of our strength, because we're perfect once again like we were when we were created, when we were in Eden, before we allowed ourselves through our hubris and our conceit and our arrogance to be led astray by the serpent, by the dragon, by the evil one, by Gadriel, as he's called. We're perfect once again. But to cross through that narrow gate, the gate is narrow. The gate is narrow. We walk a narrow path. And to walk that narrow path, we have to be filled with the breath of Yahuwah, the breath, such that we are animated and alive and strong, and we can wear the armor, we can be guided correctly. The breath of Yahuwah, the set-apart spirit of Yahuwah that lives within us. And how do we get that breath of Yahuwah? How does it live within us once again? Like we were when we were created in his image and in Eden, before we were cast out and forced to roam this world by the sweat of our brow after Cain crushed the skull of Abel and all his evil, and we were doomed to no longer have this land, this world, yield its fruit to us. And instead, all we did was conquest, pillage, destroy, dominate our fellow man, to receive the fruits of the flesh instead of the fruits of the land and the earth that Yahuwah had given us as a gift. We receive the breath in order to be guided on that narrow path through the narrow gates of the kingdom to come by confessing that Yahuwah HaMashiach has come in the flesh, that He is the Savior. Yahuwah, that's what the name means, the Most High who saves. Yahuwah, Yahusha, Yahuwah, the Most High who creates. Yahusha, the Most High who saves, the Most High who redeems, the Most High who delivers. And by confessing that He has come in the flesh, by confessing our faith, by asking for His salvation, we receive it like a flood, like a tsunami over our heart and over our soul. We receive the Word. We receive salvation instantly. Ask, receive, knock on the door is answered. Seek and you find instantly. No hardship, no hardship, no toll, no price, free, gratis, complimentary, your birthright, for merely confessing, for merely believing, for merely having faith, for merely asking for Him to save you. You are forgiven once and forever, all of your sins. And why would you do that? You would only do that if you had anguish and you had surus and you had tumult and you had guilt and you had horror at who you were, at what you've been, and in how you've acted. Evil, sinful, decadent, depraved, defiled, debased. And you can't take it anymore. You don't want it anymore. You don't want to be hopeless. You don't want to be longing. You don't want to be thirsting. You don't want to be chasing your tail. You're sick of the cheap highs, cheap thrills, cheap entertainment of this world, such that you chase the materialism of this world, the money, the houses, the cars, thinking the trophies, the championships, climbing to the tops of mountains in this world, and never figuring it out. And so looking for mentors, yogis, magis, holy men, wise ones, all of them false prophets. Maybe there's a good one out there, but how would you know if you don't invest the time, if you don't look to the source, Yahusha, and ask Him for forgiveness, and ask Him for wisdom, and ask Him for discernment, and then go directly to the source, the Beshorah, the good news, the new covenant, and read and nourish your heart, and nourish your soul, and nourish your spirit with His phrases, with His life, with the stories, with the parables, with the phrases, so that you can understand, so you could have understanding, so that if you were to ever meet a mentor, a rabbi, a priest, the one of the few who's true to heart, not looking to bind you to them, yoke you to them, chain you to them, so that you need them, the lying Pharisees, the hypocritical scribes that want nothing more than for you to go to them so that you could know the Father, so that they could have total power over you and control over you. Because if you need them for interpretation, then you need them for absolution. You need them for guidance. But you need none of that. There is no way to the Father except through the Son, except through Yahusha HaMashiach. And so you simply need to go to the source, and in so doing, and being struck by that tidal wave of salvation, when you're on your knees and asking for His forgiveness and asking for His redemption, and it floods you and it saves you instantly, and you receive all the things you've ever looked for and more. Your cup runneth over, such that you have too much, you have so much, you are so overwhelmed with it that you're compelled to share the good news, the Beshorah. You can't help yourself. It's like me out here now, early in the morning, doing this message, because I have so much that I have to share it. I have to let others know. I'm compelled to. And all the answers you ever sought, where every time you asked a question, and behind the answer to that was another question. Every time you opened one door, another door was locked. Every time you got to the top of one mountain, should you have ever even gotten to the top of one mountain, because you strived and you struggled and you pushed yourself beyond all limits, and you received a trophy, a championship, a title, an accolade, a praise, an esteem, a glory from other men, which is worthless. You only found that satisfaction lasted for a millisecond before you realized, yes, you're at the top of this mountain, but you're at the bottom of another, and you're doomed to do it all over again, like Sisyphus doomed to roll that boulder up the hill only to have it roll back down on him over and over, and that's your whole life. The hamster wheel, the treadmill that never ends. You never get off it. You never find what you're looking for. What are you looking for? All of us are looking for the same thing: love, healing, joy, peace, and life. But true life. Not this life of the flesh. This life, this world that tries to crush all love, peace, and all instances of Yahusha HaMashiach. Look all around you. Look all around you. Nothing but decadence and depravity, and the the, the, the concerted effort, the pressure to blot out in the public eye the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Everywhere you turn, and we get so caught up in this propaganda, this narrative, that we become uncomfortable, we become embarrassed to say the name of Yahushua HaMashiach out loud when the time comes, when it's needed, when someone needs to hear it, when you need to hear it out loud, when you need to be on your knees, when you need to connect. But when we're filled with the Ruach, the set-apart spirit, the breath, because in being saved, in asking for his forgiveness, in that simple act, we are flooded with the Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah, the set-apart spirit that guides us on that narrow path, such that we can no longer be knocked off of it, through the narrow gates into the kingdom to come. And we wear the armor of Yahuwah such that no more can, again, we're of this world but not in this world, so no longer can the spears and daggers and slings and arrows of the evil whisperers and the psychic vampires, the haters and detractors of this world penetrate us. They can no longer influence or persuade us. We're impervious, impenetrable, impregnable to their evil ways as we move across this narrow path, such that they can't distract us anymore. They can't deceive us anymore. They can't persuade us with their baubles and their sparkles and their bedazzlement. We're immune to it now. We're too strong for it. And so we're no longer ashamed. We're no longer embarrassed. We're no longer uncomfortable shouting from the rooftops the name of Yahuwah Yahusha. No longer. No longer. And we move with speed and grace and strength as we move along this narrow path. And there's freedom now. There's freedom now. There's freedom in being able to confess your love for Yahuwah Yahusha out loud. To feel the strength and the glory and the grace in the simple utterance of his name, Yahuwah Yahusha. Wow, the way that hits, the way that resonates when you have the freedom to say it, to shout it from the rooftops, to put it out there for others who need the hope and the help and the guidance and direction and need you to live as an example for them. Not that we're out here preaching. Beware the hypocritical Pharisees and lying scribes. Beware, the false prophets are everywhere. Everywhere. Yahushua HaMashiach warned us about them. They're everywhere out there, looking to deceive you, looking to bind you to them, to yoke you to them. We don't need them to confess our love to Yahuwah Yahusha. We don't need them to interpret the word. He made it simple so that anyone and everyone could understand it. What is the word? He is the word, and what is his words tell us to do? Simple commandment from which all good things spring. It's very simple, it's very basic, so that we can all take it to heart and live our lives correct, live our lives righteous, live our lives with a true righteous and justified and sanctified heart. To love, this is it. This is the way, the truth, and the life. Can you imagine something so simple? These lying Pharisees, they'll give you the long journey. They'll give you the crucible that you have to go. They'll give you, they'll take you through all the rules, regulations, traditions of the forefathers and pile even more on it with every generation, pile even more on that you're going to have to yoke yourself to somehow come to the state of Zen, to somehow come to the true peace and solace, to somehow find the epiphanies and the revelations such that it'll be revealed to you. They're all liars. It's contained in this simple commandment that Yahusha gave us, free for all to understand, to love Yahuwah with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our fellow man as we love ourselves. And in so doing, We will get all the epiphanies, all the revelations, all the understandings. Everything will be revealed to us. Every question we've ever asked, everything we've ever searched for, everything we've ever looked for, found by the simple practice of that simple commandment. All good things spring from that. Everything you can imagine. All is revealed. But there is such power and grace and freedom in no longer yoking yourself to the flesh and to this world, such that we should be calm and quiet, reserved and restrained in our allegiance, in our fealty, in our dedication, in our passion for Yahuwah, Yahusha. No, if you feel it, shout it. If you feel someone must know, let them know. Again, not that we should preach to them like these lying Pharisees and hypocritical scribes where, they admonish you, they talk down to you, they berate you, they put themselves on a pedestal. No! That you should look up to them as if they're the gateway to the Father, as if they hold all. They don't. They're just another man like you, imperfect like you, fallible like you. They make mistakes like you, evil like you, sinful like you. They're only men. No better, no worse. We all need to be humble and have humility in the eyes of Yahuwah, Yahusha. For the low shall be made and the high shall be brought low. But we live, the way to do this for your fellow man is to live as an example for them. They want to hear the word. They long to hear the word. They need to hear the word. They need to see it lived out. And so we don't have to preach to those who need salvation. We don't have to berate them in such a way where we're talking down to them, admonishing them, punishing them, hurling fire and brimstone at them. Should they not, then the consequences will be dire. Although they will, that's not going to bring them with all love, with all humility and humbleness to Yahuwah, Yahusha. That's for the old law. That's the old way. That's the old commandment. Those are the old rules, regulations, traditions of man that live on stone and that perish like stone, that fade away like stone. The laws, rules, regulations, traditions, and commandments that reveal nothing but sin and evil, that dole out nothing but penance and punishment, and that you follow begrudgingly, not lovingly, because you fear the consequences of it all. And you should fear Yahuwah. You should fear Yahuwah, but you should come to him through love. And that is what going to Yahuwah, Yahusha, HaMashiach, and asking for salvation brings you. In the word, in the way, the truth, and the life, the new law, and coming to him and asking for his redemption, and you're flooded with the Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah. The new law, the new covenant is written on your heart, such that your heart and you have everlasting life, and the law has everlasting life. It's emblazoned, his light is emblazoned on your heart. For here in this temple, we are the temple. He lives within us. He lives within our heart and soul. And he writes his law now on our heart so it has everlasting life. So it no longer fades like the stone and no longer reveals sin and punishment, but reveals salvation. The stone, the law that perishes, doesn't reveal salvation, reveals punishment, reveals evil, and is meant for the unfaithful and the unbelievers and the corrupt. The new law, the living law, is written on our hearts, has everlasting life, and it fills us with everlasting life. So we no longer perish like the stone. We live forever. And we follow the living law that's written on our heart out of love, in true gratefulness and thankfulness like we've never felt in our existence. Because how could you be thankful for being a zombie, for being the walking dead, for walking this earth, corrupt, misled, deceived, destroyed, truly dead, heart hardened, soul made out of concrete, but now your heart is softened, your heart is open, and the wound that you walked around with your whole life that was deep in your soul is healed, and you feel vibrant and alive and dynamic for the first time ever, truly alive, truly having everlasting life, like the law that is written on your heart, that is saved, and that has everlasting life. Now you follow the single commandment, which leads to all the other commandments, which leads to all righteousness and truth, such that you don't need the Pharisees and the holy men and the wise ones for their guidance. No, they're the foolish ones. Those who follow the heart and the way, the truth, and the life of Hamashiach
the children of Hamashiach in all of our innocence, in acting humble, in being like a child, in our innocence, in our humbleness, in our humility, knowing nothing, having no contrivance, not sitting here talking down to others as if we're the parent, as if we're the father, as if we're the know-it-all, but actually acting humble, full of humility, innocent in the eyes of Hamashiach, foolish in the eyes of the world, not wise in the ways in the world, not wise in the contrivance of this world, not clever and crafty in the ways of this world, but innocent in the ways of Hamashiach, humble, humility, not being a know-it-all. Just sitting here and knowing one thing, and one thing only, because this world is filled with deceptions and deceit, misleading ways, and all manner of persuasion and influence to knock you off the path. But in all truth, in the simple truth, we revel in the simple things. We pay homage to the most simple. We pay reverence to the Most High in the single commandment that guides us. Love Yahuwah with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love our fellow man as we love ourselves. It doesn't get more. You don't need to know anything. And I mean anything more than that. That is the wellspring. That is the fount. That if you come to Him reborn, once again, revised, reconstrued, reconstructed, refreshed, renewed, rebuilt, reborn, once again, fresh in His image, then you are innocent. Once again, you are purified. Once again, you are righteous. You are justified. Your heart is sanctified in this moment. And all you need to know and all you need to do and all you need to follow is that simple commandment. Love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your fellow man as you love yourself. And all the things you ever need, all the things that should ever be revealed, all the answers you've ever sought, found right there in that single commandment. All the good things spring from that. All the guidance springs from that commandment. And how do you stay true to that commandment? You're filled with the Ruach, the breath, the set-apart spirit of Yahuwah that floods you in your salvation, in coming to Hamashiach and confessing He has come in the flesh and asking for His forgiveness. And now we can wear the armor. For in that humbleness, in that humility, and not being a know-it-all, and not being a lying Pharisee and hypocritical scribe, not admonishing our fellow man, not preaching down to them, but being just like them, humble before them, just living as an example, living the way, the truth, and the life, and they will see through you the light, that you are alive, that you are humble, that you live, that you're full of robustness and dynamism and encouragement and passion for Hamashiach. They know that you were once like them, that you had the depression, the despair, the anxiety, the frustration, the lack of self-esteem, the lack of confidence, the self-hatred, the hatred to others, the anger, the despair, the pain and the misery, the warlike attitude, the sense of conquest and dominion, the arrogance, the hubris, all of the jealousy, the envy, the hopelessness, all of it, the decadence, depravity, defilement, debasement, just like they are now. The only thing we need to be doing is not preaching down to them, because they might need your help. They might need your guidance. They might need your direction. And the best thing you can do is just live as an example for them, to live the way Yahusha wants us to live, the way, the truth, and the life. And just by doing so, just by honoring Him and revering Him, those who are lost, they can see that if you are able to have this life, this dynamism, this robustness, this encouragement, this humbleness, this humility, then they will see. Those who need to see will see. Those who are ready to hear will hear. Those who are ready to see will see, and they will never unsee, unhear, unknow again. For they will know that you, who were once like they, if you and I can be saved, then they can be saved. And in so doing, they will come to Yahuwah Yahusha when the time is right. Not by you scaring them, not by you punishing them, not by them fearing, as they used to do. The old fire and brimstone preachers will rain hell down on you. You will be damned to hell. All damnation. Burning in eternal. No. 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 And although you should fear Yahuwah, you come to him out of love. You come to the way, the truth, and the life out of love, not out of fear. Because through fear you do so begrudgingly, but through love and the new law and the new covenant, you do so out of joy, out of peace, you're compelled to, because you know what's righteous and true, because you want to, because you feel the vibrance of it, the health of it, the renewal of it. You feel the cleansing of it, the refreshing of it. You feel what it's like to be reborn, and you want it. And you'll come to it because you'll see others who have what you want, who are found, and you want to be found, who are with hope because you are hopeless, who live because you die, and you want that life, you want that robustness, you want that energy. Because you feel unforgiven, yet you see those who once felt unforgiven walking in the truth, the way, and the life, and having deliverance and having redemption, and you want that. And so that's the best thing we can do, is live as an example for our people. And part of living as an example for our people is to rid ourselves of shame and uncomfortableness, to rid ourselves of the contrivance of this world that would crush us and would admonish us and would have us caged in and would have us cornered and would have us feeling anxious and would have us feeling embarrassed in some way for admitting our faith to the world that we love Yahuwah, Yahusha, with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and that we love our fellow man as we love ourselves. And in ridding ourselves of that and donning the armor, we feel the freedom. We feel set free. We feel reborn. And we wear, because now we have faith. In doing so, you feel this freedom, and you feel now light as a feather. You feel the ability to move and groove with swiftness and grace and ease. Feel be able to truly fly like the eagles and like the angels. You feel it. And then you're no longer feeling vulnerable. You're no longer feeling weak. You're no longer feeling that you're at the mercy of those that would have you hide your love for Yahuwah Yahusha. Now you don the armor, the faith, the helmet of salvation. And you wield the breath that lives within you, the light that lives within you, that destroys and dissolves all the darkness that you've stumbled in your whole life. You no longer stumble in it anymore. You might make a mistake. You might trip up on this narrow path, but you can't miss it now. It's emblazoned with his life. It's a light. He is the light of this world, such that the darkness cannot fathom it. The darkness cannot comprehend it. The darkness cannot overcome it. So the darkness scatters from your life. The darkness dissolves from your life, and you're bathed in his light. And so you see, first of all, it shines down on you, so you feel his warmth, his love, his light. And it heals you from the outside. You feel the Ruach flooding you from within. The light that bursts forth like 1,000 trillion, infinite number of rays. And it heals you from the inside out, and others can see it. They see the vibrancy, the dynamism, the robustness, and the healing energy that now floods forth from you as a beacon of hope for them. And you see the narrow path. It's unmistakable now. And so it's easy to walk it. And you might stumble or make a mistake here and there, but instantly the Ruach pulls you back to it. It might last moments, but you're back on it, straight and true. But you're no longer ashamed to shout from the rooftops your love for Yahuwah Yahusha. And in wearing his armor, in wearing the helmet of salvation, and in wielding the Ruach that lives within you as a sword, it demolishes all darkness, all negative frequencies, all wayward thoughts, all negative energy, all evil whispers. All of it. It can't touch you. His light, the Ruach, bursts forth from you like a force field, dissolving all darkness in your way as you walk this narrow path. So you can't be touched. You can't be hammered. The spears, daggers, slings, and arrows of the evil whisperers and the psychic vampires of this world, they can't get close to you any longer. So you can truly live as an example for your people. You can be bold in your love for Yahuwah. For those who are ashamed of him and the good news, the Beshorah, he will be ashamed of when he comes again with the power and the glory of Yahuwah, with the power and glory of the set-apart Spirit, with the power and the glory of the holy angels, the set-apart ones. But we're free. We're unashamed. We're unabashed. We're bold as we walk with truth, with reverence for Yahuwah Yahusha. We are ceaseless and we are relentless in our passion. And we walk this narrow path to the kingdom to come, to those narrow gates. See it, they're right there. You can see it. It's as plain as day. We know. It's written in our genetic code. It's in our DNA. We are grateful. We are thankful. But we know it as sure as we are. Every muscle fiber in our body, every fiber of our being, every molecule that makes us up, every cell in our body is pulled on this narrow path that's emblazoned with His light. To those, you see it. You see the light shining through the narrow gates, and we're going to cross over it as we march. Ceaseless and relentless, unstoppable, undefeatable, unassailable, undeniable, like a locomotive, like a freight train, like a juggernaut, to kingdom come.